It's recording.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to restart?
Good morning, class.
Good morning.
All right, so we're going to review a little bit about how our bodies can get infected with viruses and bacteria. So you remember what the virus is? They break right through your cell wall. So it's on your cell wall, and it injects the genetic material. Could be DNA or RNA. And then it starts reproducing. What do you think is going to happen when it reproduces inside one cell?
It goes rapidly.
It's going to grow right till it
Expands.
and
A burst.
yeah, it bursts, right. And then that's how it gets in your blood system, right? And spreads throughout your body. Can you treat a virus?
No.
What can you treat?
Bacteria.
Right. And with viruses, you can treat the symptoms. So if you get a cold virus, what can you treat?
Fever. Give you a cough.
Fever, cough. Yeah. You can even get like nasal decongestant. All right. Bacteria. Do you remember what we learned about bacteria? They're single cell, got really thick rigid walls, and you have more bacteria cells in your body than you do human cells. Bacteria can be treated with antibiotics, but what happens if we don't take the whole dosage of antibiotics?
It doesn't kill it.
Yeah, it doesn't kill it, and that's how they start mutating, and then you get the antibiotic resistant strains. What's a good bacteria that you have in your body?
The one that breaks down the food that you eat.
Right. So when you take your antibiotics, it's going to kill off your good bacteria as well as the nasty stuff, like strep throat. What can we do to put that good bacteria back in?
Eat yogurt.
Yogurt, right. Because it has what?
Probiotics.
Probiotics. Okay. So now we have another way that we can get infected with stuff. And that's the main idea of our lesson today, is how do protists infect their hosts? A protist is any eukaryotic organism, so it's got a nucleus, that is not an animal, plant, or a fungus. All right? A good example of this is going to be malaria, a disease that a protist infects you with. So, with malaria, usually it starts out with what kind of a bite? What kind of critter?
Mosquito.
Mosquito, right, right. Where do you find the most malaria? What part of the world?
South America.
Yep, right in the tropics. Absolutely. Well, here we have a little handout today on protists and malaria disease. So it's going to start out with mosquitoes flying around, and they find a host, right? And just by chance,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead. And just by chance, they'll bite somebody with infected with malaria. So then, what's going to happen next?
Get sick
So the protist starts growing in the digestive system of the mosquito itself, and then it builds up in its saliva. So when a mosquito bites you, it injects saliva into you when it's biting, and it helps like keep the blood from coagulating. So as soon as that goes in, he's also injecting, or she I should say, because it's a female, right? Is injecting some of that protist into your blood. So knowing how the viruses start infecting you, what do you think happens next with the protist? Just using your notes from viruses and bacteria. Are there similarities, you think?
it.
Mm-hmm. They can. It's gonna have to infect you, right? It's gonna have to break through the cell wall. With malaria, it especially goes after your red blood cells. So it's gonna break into your red blood cells. It doesn't inject the protein though, it's just got everything in it, makes it really happy there to live and to reproduce. So then it's gonna be in your blood. What's gonna happen next?
Just cause the red blood cells to burst.
Yeah, eventually, just the same thing like it did with the virus, where it filled the cell, kept building and building, and once it busts that cell wall, that cell's pretty much done, because all the cytoplasm comes out, everything it needs to stay alive develops. So it's the same thing then with our protist, it's gonna be building up in that blood cell till it bursts. A lot of times when this happens, it makes the red blood cells really, really sticky inside of like the capillaries, which are the smallest blood vessels, right? And when that happens, it can block off the blood flow to all different things, your organs, major organs. What would happen if it blocked off the capillaries and the blood flow to your brain, or parts of your brain
You could die from that.
even? Eventually it could, or irreversible brain damage, either one, depending on where it's affecting it. Right, so these are nasty. What do you think are some ways that we can protect ourselves against getting bit by these mosquitoes?
Bug spray,
Bug spray,
wearing like long sleeves or just like covering your skin, I guess.
yeah, mosquito netting, right. And also stay away from really wet areas, because that's where the mosquitoes like to reproduce. Well, I put together a little game for us where we're gonna match the different stages of an infection by a protist that's carrying the malaria virus, or the malaria protist, and then I mean the mosquito carrying the malaria protist. And we'll start out, we'll match the steps, so you'll just drag a step here, and then you'll pick which step that goes. If it's not right, it's gonna separate. So using what you know about viruses, what one do you think is gonna be our first step? You guys can go up there and drag them. So we ended up just a plain normal healthy mosquito we're starting out with. What's gonna happen?
Mosquito
There you
bites
go.
a person.
Yeah, yeah. Now what? What's gonna happen, Jordan?
It has to, oh, not that one, it's got, yeah, it's gotta pick the,
Protist?
yeah, and then it causes the bacteria to leave.
Okay. So first we've got it biting somebody that's infected. Now it picks up the protist. What's gonna happen next? No. So it bit the person, picked up the protist. Protist infect. The protist in this case really loves to go to the liver and infect your liver. And that's where it really grows inside your body. That's why a lot of people with malaria are really yellow looking jaundiced. Okay, so for 3, we'll go in here,
one at the top? If that were-
Produces, wait, it's in the bloodstream, I think, not in